All right, we are live. And for those who are joining, just give us a few minutes here to get our technology at par. All right, we have Bitburg. Ta-da! And we have, some call her the little scientist. Ta-da! And we'd like to welcome everyone to a talk with friends. We have a bunch of great GMs and friends in the queue, and we will bring them on in a minute. But I'd just like to thank everyone for being here for the Illusion Horror and Cons kind of first. Um, this is what's happening this con kind of thing. And I'd like to welcome you. I'm Electric Rancid, Ryan, and might have seen me on streams and other things around on server. And besides that, just like to pass on the torch to Crystal. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Yeah, Crystal, the little scientist. Yeah, just wanted to not only chat about the con, although that is very important, just also wanted to catch up with everybody and their activities and things that are coming up. Any sort of exciting gossip about our community.
Nice. And the other creator in this thing we call a convention and community, Mr. Bitberg Chef.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Bitburg Chef or David. You might have seen me recently throughout WesternCon doing another set of panels or at a Weekend with Good Friends where I'm helping out as well. But yeah, we are in the preparations of this year's con. And as we realize now in the third year that we have grown from a small community to something more bigger, we have recently made the decision to expand a bit the board of directors, as some call it. But invite a couple of people, trusted people that we like to have amongst us and help us grow the server and support the community. And I think with us all together, this year's con, we expect great things, and we are very excited to see what happens. And that's roughly it from me. And I think in general, I want to reiterate what Ryan said. This is just an informal idea about giving a general idea of what we are, who we are, what we do at Illusion Horror Con throughout the year, and also during the con, what you can expect, and what we are doing on our personal level, what we're writing, what we run as games and systems, and just to get to know us a bit better. And I'll head back to Ryan the Torch and say, I think it's time that we can bring in the other friends.
That's right. Ryan the Torch. I like that. That's my name. And we'll bring them in one at a time. If you've all seen them, we have two Martins, a Dave, and a Perry. And we'll bring them in one at a time. And they'll tell you who they are, and we'll get discussing. So first one I'd like to bring in no particular order would be, I think we're calling him Martin 2 on this one. Oh no, Martin 1. This is Martin 1 because he was in this thing first and you can still hear me, so that's great. So Martin 1, welcome.
Hello. Pleased to be here.
Yeah, and we're pleased to have you here. Would you like to tell anyone about what systems you run, what you do on the server, and feel free to plug anything.
Yeah, so I'm one of the Martins, sort of role-playing gaming enthusiast. Obviously, why else would I be here? I'm a particular fan of Cult Divinity Lost, and I guess other sort of rules light kind of bad stuff heavy systems, and sort of just in general like bleak horror and kind of weird fiction. Yeah, that's what I do.
Great.
Fantastic.
Great to have you here. And I'll stay with the M's here, no particular alphabetical order, and we'll bring in Martin number 2.
Hello. Good to be here.
I'd like to welcome you here as well. Like I said, feel free to tell people what you do on the server, who you are, and if you'd like to bring light to any of your creations or what you run.
Yeah, I'm also part of the Bad Things Are Fun club with the other Martin. Also particularly fond of Cult and the stories that it allows me to tell. I particularly enjoy introducing new players that haven't done any horror to this sort of game. And I particularly enjoy the improvised parts. Like, I run fully improvised sessions most of the time.
Fantastic.
Perfect. And next, you would have seen her run a lot of Delta Green, some Cthulhu Dark, and she's been on some streams of mine. Welcome, Perry. And her video will probably freeze in about 5 seconds. Just due to
Yes.
technology. But that's okay.
Hi, Peregrine. One of my favorite games is Cult as well, but also Delta Green. And I'm also a member of the Bad Things Are Fun Club, especially when the bad things are like big, horrible buildings. Big fan of Eldritch architecture.
Nice. Great to have you here. And last but not least, I think I can only remember him as GM Dave, but by any other name, this is the other Dave. Welcome, other Dave.
Hi, everyone. I'm David, aka Dave, on this server. Long-time GM. I've been GMing since I would say the early 90s. And I was around for the very first iteration of Cult as well, which came out in the Swedish language back in the day. I think it was early 90s. And I've been playing role-playing games ever since. Right. And I recently came back to the hobby a few years ago, and I started running Cult again, now the 4th edition. And I have to say it's been life-changing. You know, it's so fun. Since then, since 2020, I've written 7 of my own campaigns. I'm more focused on pre-written material that I write myself and run with players. And it's been a blast here on the server. I'm running almost exclusively Cult, but I've been dabbling in another system recently that shall not be named. But but I run Cult campaigns every weekend, pretty much right now, and I have a big backlog of things that I want to run as well. So if you can check out my little corner on the server if you're interested. Yeah,
Cool.
That's me.
Awesome. And for people who are out there watching this either now or later, you'll have to join the Discord server to see that system he does not want to talk about. And yeah, I'll hand the Mr. Bitburg, if you want to just kind of just start the discussions on the kind of list we have. Go ahead.
Sure. I just maybe wanted to shout out and give a brief kind of summary that the Illusion HorrorCon is an annual convention that is celebrating any enthusiast in the horror RPG realm. So if there's any games that you like to run or play, this is a convention that is probably for you. It's this year on December 6 to 8. And besides that, we have kept on playing games on our server throughout the whole year. And with the addition of these fantastic people here, we've kept on maintaining a very tight schedule. And as far as I can see right now, if I'm not miscounting, there are 12, 13, 14, more than 10 slots of games, private sessions, discussion groups, all on various gaming systems, from Vaesen to Delta Green to Aquarel to Unknown Armies to Cult. So if you have not found a horror RPG server yet, then I would recommend scan the QR code or visit us on the website and join us. And that's
I think our new tagline is called "Where Bad Things Are Fun." The Illusion HorrorCon.
Yeah, where bad things.
Mm-hmm.
That's next year's motto, I guess.
Yeah.
For the convention.
Take a note.
But yeah, so if you haven't met us yet, please come and join and look around. And I guess what I wanted to point out, as I said, with the games currently going on, are you guys running any games currently? And what games are you offering and running on this server at the moment? Martins, or Dave, or Perry? Feel free to jump in.
I just finished Delta Green campaign. I was running every other Friday, so I'm not running anything right now.
Anything in the works?
Yeah, actually, I'm working on a Call of Cthulhu scenario set on a silent film set.
Fantastic.
I have a perpetual Sunday slots where I run. Right now I run every other Sunday. I run a cult campaign. Right now I'm running something called The Curse, which is a long campaign. It's around 10 to 12 sessions, and we're up on session number 9. So it's heating up. Very happy with that one. It's the second time I'm running it, and I rewrote it, and I'm super happy with the outcome. So once that's done, I'm gonna run another cult long play cult campaign. So right now that's my solid commitment to run every other Sunday, but I've been running every weekend now for a few weeks because we've had some other experiments going on, etc. So I try to run as much as I have the bandwidth for, which varies a bit with work and all that stuff. But yeah, right now I'm committed to every other Sunday.
Fantastic. Martins, what about you?
Yeah, I've been running some Cult Divinity Lost, unsurprisingly. So things that are upcoming, I guess there's a campaign of Black Skies over Brixton, starting out very soon, tomorrow.
That's from the community content, right?
It's the Cult Mass scenario for Last Cult.
Oh, okay.
So it's based on something that was published when it was, I guess, when the 90s were current, at some point in the 90s, and then Gabe and Petter and others at Helmgast have kind of updated it for the modern world. It still takes place in the 90s, but it's more of a sort of campaign framework rather than a sort of a scenario, I guess. So that then I've been having fun with running some of the upcoming scenarios for the Swedish edition of Cult Divinity Lost. So Helmgast that they've kickstarted recently, they put out this a translation of the game back into Swedish, which is a little bit different, has some new materials, but it also comes with a collection of scenarios that take place in and around Stockholm. So I've ran some of those, and I think I'm going to do that again because that was great fun. And then I've got Miskatonic Shoreside Conservatory coming up. It's the campaign for Cthulhu Dark by Bridget Jeffries, Symphony Entertainment, which I'm really looking forward to because I don't run enough Cthulhu Dark, and this is it's the cosmic horror mingling with art and creativity kind of thing. The main characters are all these young creatives who I guess see too much of what the world really is like. So it's very that's going to be fun. And that one you can still sign up for. The player lottery has not been drawn for that one.
Fantastic. Cool. Martin.
Yeah, I'm always running. I've got my 2 office hours slots. I think they're under every second Thursday of the month, which are 2 back-to-back slots where we start to create a character with the tarot and then play a fully improvised session. Or if you've joined before, we continue where we left off based on the notes that the players and I can come up with
together.
I'm usually good at remembering, but with now having run so many games, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you've been playing before a year ago. Nah, can you remind me of what we've done? But
So if people sign up, take notes, folks, and keep the
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
take and keep the notes. I always say I'm trying to, but after the game, I'm quite exhausted, so I forget to do that.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm running, which I haven't officially announced, is Vampire the Masquerade game, The Winter's Hound. We've had a session, but I'm running it with people from here, but I need to announce it so other people can potentially sign up as well. And off the server, I'm also I've recently run a game on Renegade, Rich Renegade's channel, to introduce him to Cult and introduce more people there to drag them over and pull them into the darkness and bring them closer to Achlis.
Fantastic.
And for my partner's kids, I've run an Avatar, the Last Airbender game, and we're currently preparing a thing that is based on Dimensions 20, Never Stop Blowing Up. It's based on the Kids on Bike system. The two kids are like want to play evil characters, so I have to think about what good kids or good people would do to prevent bad people, and all that in the trope of like action movies in the style of like Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Ooh.
Fast and the Furious and whatnot.
Fantastic.
Sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious how children are gonna deal with tropes in videos or in movies.
Very interesting. What about you, Crystal and Ryan? Anything going on?
There's some stuff. I haven't GM'd in quite a while. I accidentally became a player in like 4 campaigns recently. So I'm those are winding down. So I will I think after I think late October, I will start posting more games. The usual cult scenarios. I have a couple of other, accidentally. It was accidental. I have a couple of my own cult scenarios that I still want to do some play testing on. And then, good old Judgment, The Shunned, all of those good cult things.
Fantastic.
So that's my plan.
Nice. I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum. I aspire to be able to write something, but I just don't have the time right now. But I enjoy running all these other kind of scenarios that, whether it's pre-collection and this and that. But lately I've been on a streaming kick and loving it. So on the streaming side of our server, there's going to be 3 different arcs on the go. Just because of people scheduling and trying to herd cats. But we're going to get through them, and we're having a lot of fun doing that. One of them is being run by Fazul, really good friend, a really good GM. He's running his indie RPG of his own creation called One Shot RPG, and he's currently streaming his scenario, 13 Pines. And we got for Cult, I'm running Gallery of Souls, which is a lot of fun. I really enjoy that scenario. And in October, I haven't announced it yet, but I'll be running a Flesh and Steel from Things from the Flood. So look out for that in October. And always on a Sunday, always that night, because I have kids and I'm busy as hell. So that's when you'll catch me, and we usually post it later on the YouTubes and things like that. So besides that, work with these other 2 fine, Bitburg and Crystal, on bringing you the Illusion Horror Con and interacting with people in in the server. But for systems that I love running, Cult always number one. But lately, I've been trying to go back to never know the Spanish pronunciation of it, but I've been putting up Aquilare for private games. I also run Call of Cthulhu, Death in Space, Things from the Flood, Tales from the Loop, and yada yada yada, all that other stuff. Love it all. Horror, woohoo!
Fantastic. From if you guys are wondering, I've been also quiet for a while, as I just worked on the VastonCon, which is Gothic horror. Panels of the discussions are online as well. Go to vastoncon.com for more information. But yeah, I accidentally started to run 4 campaigns. One of which is Cult, one is Call of Cthulhu. 2 are Call of Cthulhu, and one is a Vaston campaign. And those are like all in parallel in the works. Most are my 2 are my creations, 2 are official. I'm running the Black Madonna and the Day of the Beast for Call of Cthulhu.
Both of which I'm in.
Exactly.
Those are 2 of my campaigns.
And then I run 2 campaigns that I wrote myself, and they're basically in a playtesting phase called A Twisted Path. It's a Vaston Gothic horror campaign, setting a bit more darker tones to the otherwise cozy horror of Vaston. And the other one is called In Darkness Light Will Shine. It's a 1990s Appalachian Mountain Call of Cthulhu scenario. And it started out as a one-shot, and now it has over 80 pages of notes and kind of structures. So it's gonna be a campaign. And yeah, working on those, writing those up.
A campaign.
I accidentally created a campaign, and now I have to deal with it. And the same happened with the Twisted Path. It was meant for like a one-shot, and it just kept on growing, and I was like, okay. But yeah, these are a couple things on my side. I do have another bunch of papers next to me, which are scenario ideas that I want to playtest, that are structured and outlined, and I need the time to run them. But I will offer also games again, and probably some of those as vicious playtests, which have no structure and whatsoever. But for those of you on the server, end of October and then throughout November and December, you might be able to sign up and hopefully give me some feedback on how you like those. They will be a mix of Cult, Call of Cthulhu, Delta Green, and some Vaston. So yeah, that's it from my perspective, I think. Anybody else forgot something?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I'm preparing Alien RPG scenario, and I want to run something like a West Marches style cult game where people can just sign up. It's gonna be probably all on the same day, and it's gonna be like everybody's gonna go to limbo because everybody's goes to sleep. If somebody needs to jump off early, they wake up, and I've got not much more concept than that, but I'm looking forward to running something like that.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Nice, yeah. Oh, I also wrote a little module for Cyborg, the Cyberpunk Morkborg thing, loosely based off the movie Akira. I wasn't able to fit it in one session because people got tired of me needing to leave, but I want to run it again on this server just to see if I can get it in like 4 hours. Maybe I'll run it during the con if I can.
Just that site. That's really cool. I just like to say, I don't know how many times I've seen this is a one shot, and then I think the latest one is 26 sessions later. I think that's how long.
Yeah, somebody on this call.
Somebody's on this call.
I was going to say I have
shot.
absolutely no idea how something short can grow into like over 20 sessions. Never happened to me. You know.
I think I originally said my Delta Green thing was supposed to be 4 to 6. 10's close to that, but not nearly as bad as other things.
Yeah.
Cool.
It happens. It's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
That's how we learn and improve, right?
Yeah, no, and I kid at the same time. I don't know how many times, like not over 20 sessions, but definitely it's like I strive for 4 hours. Then it's like at the 3 hour mark. People can usually see it in my face, and I think we're going to need another session. So that's usually my tagline, or I don't know. I guess I'm predictable.
Yeah,
It's all good.
indeed. Crystal?
Anybody else writing anything?
Yeah, I have the opposite problem. I have like 7 full-length campaigns written, but then I wanted to run something for the con, and I realized I just have one shot that I wrote myself that I'm going to run, right? That I've ran 30 times by now. But I realized like, hey, I have to write a couple of one shots, right? But the way you narrate and write is so different compared to what I'm used to when I'm writing campaigns, right? So I have to rewire my writing. And the funny thing, the one shot that I have, I wrote as like a prelude to a campaign, right? So, but I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a couple of one shots because I know I have them in me. I have a lot of inspirations for them. I just have to keep my sticky fingers from turning it into a campaign, which seems to be a universal problem for all of us, right? So,
if you find a solution, let us know.
Yeah, but the
please.
thing is, that's the good thing about.
Can you teach a class on it, please?
Yeah. The good thing about the con is that you have to complete it within the time slot, right? Because it's very ephemeral, right? You get a group of people together and you have to finish it there and then, and that's a creative challenge, and I like it. And that's what I have one scenario. It's called Fires of Centralia that I ran a couple of times, and I kind of perfected it to fit within a 4-hour time slot. So it is doable, but you have to. There's a lot of mental energy that goes into forcing yourself to it, but which is good. I think it's great for your personal development as a writer as well. So yeah, I'm gonna challenge myself to come up with at least one more one shot until the con kicks off.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think if I can give some input to creating shorter scenario, I think the idea of treating it as a prelude to a scenario is great, because then this is the prelude. This is not going to have a whole lot of ideas. This is going to be there to sow ideas. And then, like, I usually make a mind map for my scenarios. Like, if it doesn't fit on an A4 sheet of paper, or maybe A3 if you're like writing bigger, then it's probably too much. And have like 2 or 3 endings in mind that, like, this is where I can cut the scenario, this is where I can cut the scenario, and maybe this. And probably include, like, okay, the players are going to meet, they need to find themselves, like, as a group. So I'll leave probably about 1 hour for that. Then 1 hour to set up the plot and 1 hour to thicken the plot, and then trying to cut down the scenario. But if you have more than 3 ideas in a scenario, it's going to be too much.
Yeah. I think I mentioned that at VestinCon also. Like, I tried for like one shots or something, I tried to keep with like a 3-3-2-1. So three locations maximum, 3 NPCs maximum, 2 conflicts, and like 1 confrontation at the end. And that usually kind of keeps me roughly on track. Although it's easier said than done, because that's every time I start writing new idea scenarios, they start out like this, and then 26 sessions later, you're like, Jesus, what went wrong?
On the other side of all that, being a person that runs your person's scenarios, it is a skill to fit something into 4 hours. And one thing that I've like for my personal preparation is you have to read something at least 3 times because you always miss something the first. You find most things the second, and then you get clarity on the third, and then usually in a 4-hour slot, it's like okay, get to a point where you can kind of like, okay, I don't need this, I don't need that, I can throw this in if I go that way, and yeah, just kind of change on the fly. So yeah, it's from both ends of the spectrum. It's definitely a challenge, and I think it's even with narrative-based stories like this that are just meant to breathe. Um, Sometimes I don't don't enjoy it. Well, I always enjoy running the scenarios, but I always like letting them breathe, and I don't like letting the players miss the story that's happening because there's usually so much cool stuff that sometimes you have to let out, unfortunately. But that's only in a con environment. Private games and other things are a different story.
Okay. Speaking of the con, I think we said it off the call earlier. We realize also that time flies by, and the GM submission will open on October 11th, so in a couple of weeks. So for those on the listening to us right now, you can mark the date. You find all the times and dates on our website or on our Discord server as well. They have links to time conversions. But yeah, Crystal, do you maybe want to give us a brief kind of idea of what the con is about and what the changes are for the upcoming con? And then maybe we can all follow up with what we're going to offer and what we're going to run at the con, or what we aim to run.
All right. So yeah, as David said, it's the Illusion Horror Con, December 6th through the 8th. And we have 10 gaming slots. And we also have 10 panel slots, but this year we're actually only going to be running maybe 4 or 5 panels. Last year it was very, very rough for the 3 of us to run all those panels. So yeah, we'll take it to 4 or 5. And then this year we're also trying to get other people besides us 3 to moderate as well. So, if we have some subject matter experts who want to moderate, that would be great.
Nudge, nudge, look down on my screen.
Yeah. And what else? So yes, the number of panels, we'll have fewer panels. And then another change is that we are not going to have a raffle for the VIP GM games. So in the past couple of years, we've raffled off seats to the VIP GM games, and that just turned into a lot of scrambling for us 3, and it just I think it's better to just have the VIPs GM games with everybody else, and then just know that those games are probably going to be filled up pretty quickly. So we're still going to have the lottery and all those same mechanics as before.
Which is we're trying to support a good cause while doing a fun weekend with friends.
Yeah. So we'll still have a raffle for different swag that we get from Helmgast, KOCM, our sponsors, the usual suspects. And yeah, I think that's it for the changes. We're really looking forward to the con this year. It's going to be another really fun time. And yeah, we can go around to see I guess since I'm talking, I'll start things off. I am going to run I did write a one shot for Call of Cthulhu, and I am very, very close to publishing it. It's called The Protocol. So I'll probably run that at the con, plus maybe a couple of my other trying to be one-shot cult games that I need to try to squish down as much as possible. But yeah, and then I'll be panels moderating and yeah, probably playing some games, hopefully.
Preposterous.
I know. Didn't get to last year. Well, I played one game last year, I think. So yeah. So that's me. Who's running what at the con?
Let's start off with you,
Any
Barry.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Perry.
gonna. Yeah, if I could squish. Yeah, I'm gonna run that Cyborg Akira thing. If I get it done in time, I'd like to run that silent film called Cthulhu Scenario. I also want to run Cult, but I'm not sure what yet. Either one of the things I've run, like Desert Whispers, maybe.
Yeah, that's a great con scenario. I've done it a few times before, and it easily fits within 3 hours, really. 4 hours to breathe nicely. So yeah, that's a good scenario for a con.
What about the Martins and Dave?
Yeah, I'm working. I had an idea from a YouTube video by a guy named S. Truthless who compared cults with startups. So I'm currently thinking about writing a scenario where all the people are like founders of a startup in, say, like round C of the funding, and they all have to do something awful to get either the funding or I've got a few ideas, but it's in very rough stages. So I'll probably play test it at the con as usual. Like the ward was conceived at Gehenna Gaming Con, my first con. So this will be done the same way probably. Other than that, as I'm working on the Alien Art scenario, I might run that one as well. And I always can run the ward. I've run it so many times now that it just feels very natural.
I still haven't played it yet. So thank you for offering it again.
Yeah, you need to just ping me and we'll agree on time.
The time part is the issue.
I know. Everybody's got time issues.
Yeah. But cool, thank you. Dave?
Yeah, so I'm going to run my long-standing Fires of Centralia, which I ran last year, just one iteration of. I might run a couple of iterations of it this year. I also committed myself to writing something new, which is probably going to be a cult scenario, but I also started writing something called The Vampire Mansion, which is it's a horror variation of the system I alluded to earlier that should not be mentioned, right? So I might, if I can turn that into a 4-hour thing, I might run that, but that's not a promise. Yeah, that's my commitment. So at least a couple of sessions, and if I am lucky, I might be sign up as a player as well, and if I win the draw, hopefully.
Yeah, and I have not really decided what I'm going to run. I know, except I know that I'm going to run the twins probably in the last slot of the con. It's a one shot that I've written that I like. I had that on the last con. I had it in the last slot of a weekend with good friends as well, and it's usually turns out quite sad, which makes it sort of a good way to end. Yeah. Then probably reheating the sequence, which is like 2-player one-shot with a serial killer and their psychologist. That usually works well. And then I'm sort of considering, like, anything that you've seen me run as a one-shot on a Monday is up for consideration. So it might be something from the Swedish edition of Cult. It might be one of the classics. Like Edin Arcadia Ego was tried that recently, for example. Or yeah. I also had the ambition that it would be cool to have a couple of tight, new play-tested, one shots. But again, I'm writing short things is difficult, right? I didn't have time to write a short scenario, so I wrote you a campaign framework instead. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of candidates there. We'll see when the GM sign up opens. I'm gonna spin the big wheel and pick some.
What about you, Ryan?
My plans are kind of still up in the air. I don't know. I've run so many things. Definitely going to try something cultish, whether it be Oakwood Heights or some other ones. Yeah, kind of up in the air. But I am trying to work on a special stream of a horror scenario with hopefully some other actual play people in the horror space. So fingers crossed. Might be pre-recorded, might be a live stream, but that's the main thing I'm working on. But nothing to say yet.
Okay. I think I'm gonna aim for my new Cult one shot. Hopefully that works out. Current working title is Our Mother of Darkness. Very fitting. Also deals with globalization, corruption, and super elites trying to do something very fun and absolutely not egocentric.
Fun.
Exactly. And then I have a new gothic horror that's kind of set Victorian times. So I'm actually considering running it in Cthulhu Gaslight, because hopefully by then we have the new Gaslight book out as well. And I have a little Delta Green thing that I've been working on. So all of these scenarios will be at least playtested once before in the server, so October, November. And we'll see how that goes. But that's pretty much what I'm aiming for at the table. And I think a good mix is nice and keeps me on my toes throughout that weekend. Yeah.
Okay. We got to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't look like we have any questions in the chat. So,
Yeah, there's been 3 or 4 people in and out, but I find with these most people
okay.
listen in the future.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're wrapping up. Does anybody did you miss anything? Want to, plug anything at the last minute?
Where can people find you? Who are you?
Where can people find you?
What did you have for breakfast today or something? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Do you have any new
Well,
exciting
if-
things coming up?
If you're not on the server, join the server and dig around. I think the house GMs have their own little sections, and I added my kind of planned content there. So if you can look there and see if that's something you're interested in, and we'll be running that in the near future, right? And I can say it's a great community. There's a lot of good GMs, a lot of good players, a lot of very, very dedicated players that really bring life to the games. It's a wonder, right? Because like the GM isn't the main character of the games, it's the players, right? And we're blessed with amazing players on the server. So please join the community and enjoy it, because it's great.
And
Okay.
Perry or Martins, any specific plug you want to share or comment?
Good. You can find me around some Discord server.
Fantastic.
Yes, where to find me on the Illusion Horror Discord server. And if you yourself want to run that 25 episode alleged one shot, I am planning to publish the notes for as a fan made scenario soon. Trademark.
Amazing.
Once it's finished in 2026.
Yeah, whenever it finishes.
Yeah, after session 50.
I do have to say that it has finished in fewer sessions as well. There are witnesses to that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I guess you can find me on the server or at diceand.me. I'm currently trying to keep notes and NPCs of all of the vampire game on there. So yeah, I need to write a summary for the first session, but in general, I'll try to also my scenarios that the ward that I wrote is up there. So Martin has run it also as a more than one shot. I think it's not it's not me.
Yeah, maybe something we can add to the server is a like a resources channel, so that we can plug all your stuff. Can't believe we don't have that already. Well,
we do have it on our website.
In the works.
If you go to the illusionhorrorcon.events, you'll find a section for the house GMs where we have a short bio and some of the links that we'll try to update and keep updated, right? Because we're dedicated and organized people. So we'll get right on that. But as of now, they're current. And yeah, so if I would say we generally refer to the website for any updates, changes, and then anything else will be on our Discord server if you're not already on it.
Join the Discord. QR code below.
Join.
Well, yeah. With that, I think I would say thank you very much, our house GMs, Martin, Dave, and Perry, for joining us at this inaugural chat amongst friends. And if anyone has any questions, come and join us on our Discord server. I don't think we said it enough. And play some games. So thank you very much and have a fantastic weekend.
Good weekend, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.